Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let's get to this first, then I'll talk because we're gonna get into a cutscene.
It's coming! Sholme's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
In the previous episode, we completed episode number 4. Today's episode right now, we're going to get into the final part of this first part of 2 games. Anyways, if you have today's episode, make sure that like button, subscribe to your channel. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki's-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. Are we going to figure out what caused the fire back then? However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes? It's time to leave for court already? What? Let me see. What case is today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholme's suite? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Check the telegram! Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. Ahem. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. I suppose Soseki-san will be arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after the terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or just be a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had the very long telegram from him, don't you remember? Complaining of seasickness? But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. It Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering what might have become of Soseki-san if he had stayed in London, that's all. You mean as regards to Lord Von Zykes, the Reaper? Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? How, like the way that Nightmare's trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Are we gonna get an explanation on that one today? Even 2 months on the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps? Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of premonition. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquainted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Von Zykes hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Soseki-san's trial. He's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been who's had to face him in his recent trials then. Just my luck. Oh yeah, we're supposed to face some final guy, I bet. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. How much you want to bet that we're gonna face the guy that's been doing us good? That's been doing us good the entire... Like, when we first arrived, the Chief Lord Justice, I bet we're gonna face him in today's final one. If not, then... Because there's always gotta be some final boss type thing. Calligraphy, what's this? Where is our that's our desk. Teapot. Oh, nice stuff, nice stuff. Move to the Sholme suite. Morning. April 15th, Sholme suite.
Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie.
Good morning, Iris. Iris? Who's playing the violin?
What is it, Runo?
What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled.
Ah, yes, you noticed that too, did you? Hurley is in the best form this morning, it seems.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Good morning. Good morning. To die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before... My analytic mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. It'd be like this sometimes. Damn this blanchette existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me? If it's not too much trouble. Cat? Hey, it's the same cat! Oh look, it's Wagahai.
Good morning, boy.
This must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get here?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die. It'd be like that sometimes. I knew something looked different. Something missing from Mr. Sholme's desk. His coat. And up there, I guess get there early, but I can't find anything out of place. Get to the left! Thank you. Look at Mr. Sholme's desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that an enormous machine usually on it? What a machine. We can never hope to understand what's going on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacant the entire suite. That's scarily plausible, actually. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melodic tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now the muses are unamused with me. The goddess of music have thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
For hours I have bowed, for days even, through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever, no more recitals of unbridled emotion.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin for me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for?
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Well done, Mr. Sato. Your observation skills do you credit.
Oh no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into significance when compared to yours.
You're struggling not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytic scope? That's a winning bank now.
Sorry? Is that a windy bank?
No, Wendy's bank. The
pawnbrokery? It's been pawned off? You mean you pawned the enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservedly. I don't even know what that was. I haven't even investigated what it looks like.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had begun so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be but desperate?
Making use of pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound very ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, what's to understand exactly? We give them the freaking thing, they give us money, we have a certain date to pay it back, but if we don't make it in time by said day, they sell it off to someone else with a higher money, and isn't that how pawn works? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Banks?
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Wendy's bank, you see?
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
Pain, all I know is pain. What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Alrighty then. Waga High. Shouldn't you be like somewhere else? Then we press the conversation, not examine. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yeah, it is the cat!
Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owners completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are empty as the hearts of the muses.
Aww. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could, but pets are strictly forbidden aboard the steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things could happen if the rule of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind because Waggy is adorable.
Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did it came from?
Oh, you notice? You observe it, Runo. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
What? What is that?
I call it the Cat Flap-O-Mat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do that in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker?
Would it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door for our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Hehehe.
Waggy?
What was that?
Wagga High? Who's fighting what? What was that?
Oh no! Wagga High's tangled up in your violin.
Oh no!
I think he thinks it's a toy.
No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Sholme's precious violin.
Oh no. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. It's sad. It's really sad. If the cat is more accomplished musician than I am now. That's just sad. I'm crying right now.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Is there anything else? Why was that actually... I don't want to know. Let's explore this place. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter, as if she's about to start.
That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed.
Ah, yes, Mr. Natsume.
That's what I'll be doing too once I'm back in Japan, he said through tightly clenched fists and teeth.
I don't know what else we can get with. Iris's beautiful tea set is the set on the table as usual. A cup of nut, one of her special herbal blends, always helps me to relax.
The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremonies, cousin, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea.
Yo, we can investigate the entire thing, but I feel like we have to look for something specific. The fire is burning comfortably in the great gate again today. It's a very different feeling to Japanese hibachi somehow.
Oh, look at the photographic crate of the lady displayed in the place. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting.
Something to me? A woman? Why did we get an award? Award for what? The violin. So this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you.
And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blank existence? No. There is none.
Mr. Sholmes?
What there, madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? Huh? What do you mean, Mr. Sato?
Oh, Susie's right.
Oh, no.
The tone of the wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? How do you even know exactly the size and everything?
I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all.
Then what?
I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
What? 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 What?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you alright?
You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, is this piece of string flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then?
Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
It sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what happened if we ask her. Mix-up. What do you mean by mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windy Banks until last week. At the pawnbroker's?
Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner? There's a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the broker and hoped that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
Last week, I pawned my great analytic scope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybrick mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of the piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it had strings. Pshaw! Fine state of affairs, that is. And I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, thrusting your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct considering the urgency which we are faced? We must visit the Windy Breaks Bakery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mr. Sato. Without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still attend. To crunch your bacon with an increasingly bacon aspect, to fresh your egg even more obtusely. Alright, say no more. Let's go then.
Don't worry, Runo. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker looks like. And with that, we'll end the episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe, check out 6TV, and I'm signing out.